Good morning, everyone. I am Raquel Castaneda Lopez, Detroit City Council member for District 6 as well. The American dream, ideally what it should be, that it's access to opportunity, and ideally everyone had equal access to opportunity. Unfortunately, that's not always the case.
And we're still breathing this monstrous mess, which is not getting any better, it's getting worse.
I never thought I was going to be a politician. Honestly, even after I won, I seriously considered saying, hey, I'm not going to do this. I struggled a lot my whole life, and even especially when I was running for office, with self-doubt. I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't tall enough, I didn't have a political background. I think oftentimes being a woman of color, someone coming from an immigrant background, you're devalued so often and told negative messages about who you are and what you can do. It takes a lot to counter that, and really is kind of this lifelong struggle.
Houses down here vacant. Why can't they take down the houses? I thought that was a priority.
Born and raised in District 6. There was a lot of disconnect between the needs of the community and understanding of the political system. No one's ever said that we matter or we count. When I had an internship at the state capitol, I was able to learn more about the political system, and it kind of demystified it for me. When I actually ran and I went out door knocking and talked to people, it was really powerful because I recognized their stories were the same as my stories. Hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Puedo pasar? Okay, perdón. I'm gonna come up the stairs, guys. Perdón por la molestia. Me llamo Raquel Castaneda Lopez. We grew up in poverty, but we always had food, we always had clothes. Some people grew up much poorer. My dad grew up in extreme poverty. He migrated up from Mexico when he was a teenager, taught himself to read and write and to do math. He was a plasterer. When we were growing up, we learned that trade. I remember going to work with him on the weekends and mixing plaster. My mom, even as a mail carrier, worked 50+ hours a week that we have. So imagine a single mother trying to raise 8 kids in the inner city, incredibly challenging. It was really just with this position of city council that I kind of shifted to being above the poverty level. But I live at home with 4 of my siblings still. I used to share a bedroom with my sister up until last year because she moved away. I have quite a few student loans that I'm paying off, so my income primarily goes to student loans or helping support my family in other ways. So it's to a certain extent that people perceive me as being part of the middle class or being wealthy. If there was a crisis, if something happened to one of the cars or one of my siblings got sick, then that would go away very quickly. Some colleagues or residents always say, she's the first Latina ever elected to city council. And that's important, and I've moved away from being like, no, don't highlight that, because I don't want it to create divides within the community I represent. At the same time, I recognize for a lot of people that's a sense of pride, whether they're Latino or not. I'm not only fighting for the rights of immigrants or Latinos, that it's really about protecting and enhancing the quality of life of everybody that I represent. Que no entienden o tienen preguntas, lo pueden hacer en inglés o español, lo que quieran. Okay? So my name is Raquel Castaneda Lopez. I am the city council member for District 6. It's interesting when I talk to people, look at you, you're a success, you're an example of the American dream. And I say, I may be, but there's other people that don't necessarily have the same opportunity. And I always tell them the same. I tell them very honestly my story of my personal struggles and remind them that they do have value and that their voice does count. So really quick, I know 2 big projects that you might have heard about in the media a lot. One is the Olympia development.
What dreams do you chase? Share your dream at ReDREAMproject.org. ReDREAM is presented through the generous support of ThinkShift, an initiative of the DeBruce Foundation.